Good morning, beautiful people. Or actually, I guess it's almost afternoon. Hold on. Coffee. I've been kind of going between. I had a cup of coffee this morning, and then I had my my water with chlorophyll, and I have like a little concoction that I make. It's super hydrating, and then I went back to my coffee. So I've been kind of all over the place with my beverages today, but you can tell I have crazy hair day going on with like lack of makeup or not a lot of makeup. So I thought about making it all look pretty for the live, and then I was like, why would I do that? Why would I do that? You guys get to see me as I am each day. Some days I'm super dressed up and fancy, and some days I'm just in my jeans and t-shirt. I love this. This is my Dave Matthews t-shirt. It's super cozy. So anyway, I was actually just doing some work, and I was scrolling through my own Facebook feed to find something, and I saw an article that sometimes the starving can't feed themselves. You guys are really close, and it's bothering me. Hold on. I'm gonna fix you. One of these days, Facebook will allow me to live stream again, and we won't have this issue because I'll be able to use my phone. So I saw this article I had written a couple days ago, and I've gotten a little bit of feedback on it. And I'm noticing clients kind of coming to me over the last week or two and bringing this to my awareness and bringing this to my to my reality, kind of noticing it, lots of acknowledgement. And it's this difference between other people feeding us and us feeding ourselves. And we live in this independent world where we're like, no, we must do it alone. We must be independent. We must, really kind of strive and hustle and do it all on your own. Do it all on your own. This kind of like superhero, superwoman kind of mentality, which is great on one hand. It can be amazing because it really puts you in control of your life. And we all are, at the end of the day, in control of our lives. We are in control of what we're manifesting and putting out there each day. And we're in control of just how we're reacting and, our own vibration. So yes, there is so much truth to us being independent and feeding ourselves. And what do I mean by feeding ourselves? So this could actually literally mean feeding yourself good things, like putting healthy, foods in your diet, putting vitamins in your diet that you need, making sure that you're exercising, you're getting movement in there. It doesn't have to be like this intensive, strenuous, like I'm going to go every morning to, Orange Theory. And I don't even know what Orange Theory is. Like I have a client that does Orange Theory, but or like do like PX9, like you don't have to go on to these crazy kind of extremes, but to just make sure that you're getting that movement and you're enjoying your body. And that's really what that comes down to. You're enjoying your body and you're giving your body what it needs, because our bodies all do need some form of movement and care on that level. So there is that level of feeding self and making sure that, yes, you are giving your body the nutrients that it needs and desires. Like even my second cup of coffee, I have a rule, like my first cup of coffee gets to be just a first cup of coffee. And then there's like some vitamins and stuff I actually add to my second cup of coffee to kind of help to nourish me. So it's like, yes, I'm enjoying this coffee. That coffee is not always the best thing for us, but there's also this nourishment going on as well. And I'm not saying you should go in and add things to your coffee. What I'm saying is that you can still have enjoyment. Like you can still go and eat the chocolate bar. You can still go in and, have the dessert or have that meal that you really love, but also making sure that you're taking care of self and eating foods that are really nourishing you and giving you energy. But that is not the only way we feed ourselves. We also feed ourselves through like what we're thinking, what we're feeding ourselves, like social media wise, what we're feeding ourselves music wise. I can't tell you how many times I'll be listening to a song that like it's like a lot of times it's like an older song and like I'll just be popping along and listening to it, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wow, this actually has a really negative message. This song has a horrible message. I don't want to keep feeding my brain this message. And so like one example would be that old, and I forget who, I think it was Gwen Stefani, uh, did a song, and I was in Barnes and Noble the other day, and it was that song, I'm Just a Girl, and I was listening to it, and I'm like bebopping, and I'm singing. Well, I wasn't really singing out loud. I was singing more in my head because I'm actually a horrible singer. I'm a horrible singer. But when I'm alone, I sing like I am like the best in the whole entire world. But I was bebopping and I started listening to the lyrics, and it actually is it's a song about women being small and making herself smaller and kind of restraining yourself. Now, it's done in a very sarcastic, like, I'm just a girl kind of manner, but it did get me thinking, like, well, we're constantly feeding ourselves this music, the YouTube videos you watch, the television you watch. People are shocked when I tell them I don't watch television. And I say that like it's not I never watch television, but it's incredibly rare. I think I watch probably in an entire month, I probably watch maybe 4 hours of TV. Actually, usually what one person watches in a day. So I don't watch hardly any TV. It's just not my gig. I don't find a ton of enjoyment in TV. Every once in a while, I'll watch a movie, but usually, yeah, that's pretty rare too. So I probably spend about 4 hours in front of any form of television movie screen a month. But I make that almost as a conscious choice at times because there are a lot of negative TV programs that are really ingraining these negative beliefs. Now, if you have a show or two, like if you have some shows that you enjoy, like I'm not saying take those out. I'm saying be careful of what you're feeding yourself and at least acknowledge, like, okay, I know that this show has some like negative messages and I need to be cautious of what I'm absorbing from it. So hold on. For example, like when I was growing up, I had a ton of anxiety, and at the time I didn't realize what it was from, but it's because from the time I was like 4 or 5, my mother really was obsessed with watching like all these trial shows and some news programs. I'm not going to put the news program because people are going to get like, oh, you're a Democrat, or oh, you're a Republican, like all, and I don't want to get into that. But like these news shows on all this negativity, and then these courtroom dramas where I would watch and hear all day long about like the Menendez brothers. I watched that entire trial. I can like tell you everything that happened, and I think I was like 7 when it happened. Like I remember the Oklahoma bombing. Like it was ingrained in me, and I soaked it up. And if you think that just because you're an adult, that's not the case, that's not true. You're still soaking it up. You're still soaking it up. And so that is a way you're also feeding yourself. And then again, like social media, what is on your feed? Do you need to start taking some things off of your feed? Do you need to start watching some positive elements in your social media? Like I use like my YouTube and stuff for like Abraham Hicks and really inspirational, motivational stuff. Now, and the same thing with like books, like being careful like what you're reading. And that doesn't mean that you need to like create this like totally zen, like perfect environment, but just being cautious. And it is feeding ourselves in this way of also like what we're thinking about self, the energy we're putting out there, but how we're doing self-care? Are we pushing through our stuff per se? Are we really like stepping up within self and making sure that we are setting intentions for our day? And not that we're always meeting them, because shit happens. And sometimes our souls are like, no, this is more important today. And we do get kind of soul inspired, led someplace else. And that is okay. That is okay. That is about being human and being in the flow. If you're so incredibly rigid in your day, then you're not in that flow. You're not going to be feeding yourself what you need to be feeding yourself, and allowing what needs to come in to really come into your day and your life and your experience reality. I used to, and I will kind of jump back and forth between this. Like, there are times when I get really rigid with my calendar, and then there's times when I'm just like, no. Like right now, I'm not putting anything on the calendar. Like, it must happen between this time and this time, unless it's like a client appointment or like something that I'm like, okay, we set this time, a date, things like that. But just in general, I used to be like, okay, I'm going to write my article from this time to this time, and I'm going to do my video from this time to this time. And I'll kind of sometimes, if my life and world gets super crazy, sometimes I will do that. But I've tried to kind of go more with the flow the last like few months, I think. And so kind of, what are you feeding yourself as far as self-care too? And you can, I have lots of videos on self-care and things like that. But the point I really want to get to is, hold on, I want to get to my coffee. Hold on, it gets cold. The point I really want to get to is that we have this independence kind of thing going. And I am 95% of the time totally on board with it. I think it's yes. Yes. I think having expectations of others feeding us leads us to being really disappointed for the most part. I think when we expect others to be constantly feeding ourselves, we end up not feeding ourselves, or feeding us. I think I just said that wrong. But when we have this expectation of like, no, the world needs to feed us, that is going to lead us to pain and discomfort. You should be able to be happy within self, and then it's almost like these people in our lives are like cherries on top. They give us excitement, they give us passion, they give us these beautiful mirrors and lessons and love and connection, but we have that within ourselves already. So it's not like this person is feeding me. It's like this person is adding to my life, but my life is amazing as it is. I am good within myself. I'm good as I am. And then this is just like this beautiful cherry on top kind of thing. And most of the time, that is what I preach. And today I'm going to kind of go a little bit off of my message of that, because I think that there are times in our lives when we do need, I'm going to use the word need. It is, I'm going to use the word need. I was like going back and forth in my head. I have arguments in my brain all the time. I am going to use the word need. When we need other people in our lives to really prop us up. There is a difference between constantly being fed by somebody and somebody propping us up. And there are times in our lives when we do get really drained, we get really low, and we need somebody else to step in and not take over, but give us that little bit of like, you're doing a great job. You are amazing. You are loved. Let me go and do this for you. Let me go and do that for you. We all have different love languages, so it's going to look a little different. But like, let me go and take care of that errand you need to run for you so you can focus over here. Or maybe, maybe let me give you, like, if it's a partner, like maybe let me give you a massage. Let me take care of you for a few minutes. And then there is this like, let me give you some love and some affirmation, some whatever it is. Because again, we all have different love languages. But sometimes we all do need that, and it's okay. It's okay. I think we like to shame. ourselves and others for having these little moments of like, no, I really do need somebody to hold me and just snuggle with me and really just like show me some love. That is a normal human desire. It is a normal human desire to want some love, to want some attention, to want some focus, to want somebody to go out of their way for us every once in a while. The issue we run into here, though, is that it should be this like every once in a while we need somebody else to kind of, and I don't even say feed, because feed means like we're taking, like it's almost like we're like energy vampires, and we don't want that. That's a negative energy. That is not good for you. That is not good for the other person. But it is this like, you need to be feeding yourself, but then to not shame yourself when occasionally you do need somebody else to, and you don't need, it's not even a need, it feels good. It will prop you up. It will give you a boost. Because let's be honest, but we're all human. We're all human, and we were meant to connect. I don't care what anybody says. We were born to connect. End of story. End of story. We were born to connect. And if we're not having any connection, if we're not, and I'm going to say receiving any love, but it is opening to love, because it is our choice to either receive like the love that the universe is giving us all the time and other people are giving us all the time. A lot of times we block that. We're like, we don't really soak it in. We're like, yeah, I see it. I'm grateful for it. But we're not really soaking it in at a soul level. We're not really like allowing that to be absorbed. I can tell you, like, there's been once or twice years ago, like I can think of one specific scenario where I was snuggling up, and I noticed I was like blocking, like really allowing it in. It's like a vulnerability thing. And this was like this is probably like 3 or 4 years ago, and just allowing it to soak into my system. And I could feel that block. It was like this like wall around me, and I wanted it so bad. I wanted to, in that moment, just be held and loved and cared about, and like allowed to surrender into somebody else and receive that love, but I was blocking it. And so I could have gone like, see, I never received the love I need. And like, it would be because I wasn't soaking it up in that moment. And so look at that. If you are feeling unloved, like, are you blocking it? Are you not really soaking up what you truly have? And then to kind of get back to my point, not shame yourself in these moments when you do need somebody. It would feel good to have someone go, I would like to do X for you. Again, the issue is that when we have expectations that people are going to do all this stuff for us, it does lead us to this kind of, to this point of no one's ever going to be able to do it right. No one's ever going to be able to consistently feed us. But if you look at like a romantic relationship, I'm sorry, but both people should be adding, not feeding, because again, that's like I'm giving my shit to you, but like kind of fulfilling and propping each other up, going like, you got this, babe. Like, yeah, like I know that you have that big deal coming today. You're amazing. I love you. You can do this. Or I see you've been with the kids all day. Like they're asleep. Let me just take some time and really just love on your body for a little while. Or like just bringing, getting or receiving flowers from somebody, if that is your love language. And I think we are all meant to give as much as we're receiving. So like, yes, we want to receive from the universe, but if we're never giving, if we're never truly being present in our giving, because I think a lot of times we think like, no, I give all the time, but are you truly present in that giving? Are you truly like, if you are listening to somebody, if you were helping, are you really with that person? Or are you half, over here and over there? Or are you really present with that person? Are you really giving So, and because there also is this like, we can also give too much. We can also give too much where we're getting taken advantage of. We're not being fully appreciated. The energetic exchange is not equal, is completely not equal. And so we cannot have expectations for other people and what they're going to give to us and how, we need to be giving to ourselves and holding ourselves accountable for our own happiness, our own joy, but to not shame self at the same time on these moments when it's like, no, like I really would like for somebody to kind of come in and do, have a moment where somebody takes care of me a little bit. And I think we can get into, and I see so many people, and I think this is why we have so many people right now that are like needy, and they have this needy energy. It's like, I need. It's because we are all starving. We are all starving. And when there does come a point, and in my article the other day, I wrote this, like there does come a point where you're in too much of a starvation mode to feed yourself. You're in too much of a starvation mode to feed self. And when I say feed self, that is to just kind of go within, and that means that you are going to have to take steps within self. But that is also when we really need to connect with self and go, okay, what do I need to do that will get me in the arena with other people, that I can kind of prop myself up through kind of their book or their workshop, or that can be other people feeding us. It doesn't necessarily mean like one person giving all their time and energy to you, because that's again an unrealistic expectation. But this could be like, I'm going to go to this workshop because I know the person running the workshop is going to feed my positivity. That could be like going on YouTube and listening to Abraham Hicks and going like, I'm gonna let Esther feed me for a little while. I'm gonna let her feed me some positivity, some good momentum. Going and getting a coach and allowing them to like sometimes feed you and sometimes feed you in a like get your shit together kind of way. But that is a feeding process too. And it's okay to need other people. And I think that's what I'm trying to get at really here is it's okay to need other people. It's okay to desire others to really want to connect with you and really want to have an energetic exchange. However, at the end of the day, I'm still going to say 95 to 98% of the time, it's all on you. It's all on you. And even in that 2%, it's still all on you. It's still all on you. And so it is this like feeding process of like feeding ourselves. When the universe provides us people to kind of prop us up, to use them. And I don't mean use them in a negative sense. I mean use them to like go like, yes, I want that. Yes, I'm going to hear that. I'm going to lean in here. I'm going to feel this. I'm going to allow them to love me, which is a worthiness issue that we're not going to get into because it's already gone longer than I thought I was going to go today. But to really like allow somebody to love you and allow that all in. And then if you're one of those people that is constantly giving and giving and giving and having expectations that it be returned in the exact same way, you are probably setting yourself up for failure because you're most likely putting your own mental belief blocks in there. And again, not going to go into that fully today because if you're giving with expectation of it coming right back to you, that is commerce. That is not a giving. That's not true giving. That is, I do this for you, you do this for me. And that's not a true love. That's not a true giving. That is holding expectation. But if you're constantly finding that you're doing stuff and you're not getting any energy in return, I would look within and go like, do I believe that I deserve to receive? Do I believe that I'm worthy? And also, do I want to keep these relationships, this job, these children? Don't get rid of your children. Don't go. Addison told me to get rid of all my kids because they're just constantly feeding off of me. But to kind of see, like, where do you need to put boundaries up potentially? Where do you need to maybe step back a little bit? Maybe where do you need to let them feed themselves a little? So yeah, looking at where you're giving and where you're receiving, because you should also be giving, because there are many people I know that they just want to receive. They don't want to truly give anything back. They get into this not selfish, but self-centered place of like, I just want to get. Yeah, you can keep giving to me. You can keep giving to me. You can keep giving to me. And that's going to be sucking after a while. So not allow yourself to get into that place. But at the end of the day, not shaming yourself when you do need somebody else, when somebody else does step up and help, to allow that, because that's beautiful and that's a gift in and of itself. The giving, receiving process, the surrender process, the allowing someone else to help you is just as much a gift. So on that note, I'm going to finish my coffee and stop talking and do everything else that I need to get done today. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I have nothing major to announce today. If you are in the DFW area, I have a tantric workshop coming up mid-May that you might be interested in. I won't go into a ton of detail because I'll be talking more about that in a few weeks. I have some really exciting things coming up though, but they're just not ready to be announced. I have 2 workshops kind of in making, but they're top secret for now, so you'll just have to wait and keep checking back with me on my YouTube page or on Facebook. You can find me. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. I kind of put myself out there on all social media platforms. So you can find me pretty much anywhere, but you can always find me at addisonbell.net, not com.net. If you want to stay up to date with my writings or some of the workshops coming up. Other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow for another Addison Unleashed. And I'm always sending you tons of light, love, and blessings.